Hello children and welcome to the English class of Standard 7. Children, last time we had started lesson 2.2, the souvenir. I will start again. I have told you what a souvenir is and where is this, this story is a space fiction, I had told you that, and here Saili is a girl who is gone for a trip on the moon. And just before we finished in the last period, I told you that the receptionist gave them a set of instructions, and the main instructions on that were that of the gravitational force being 1/6 of that of on the earth. So to be very careful, and in the dome shaped, we see those like Eskimos, those igloos made by Eskimos. So these dome shaped place for them to stay was specially made, and in these dome shaped thing, artificially they had maintained the gravitational force equal to that of the earth. That is why in the dome shape, whatever is your weight, that would remain the same. But outside the dome shaped settlements that they had made, outside if you go, then the gravitational force of the moon will be in work, and then your weight will suddenly become lighter and you will be flying upwards in the air. Isn't it? So that is what, and your weight will become less. This is very important because the story is based on this. Okay, where you have, and so she specially tells that if you are carrying souvenirs, gifts for your loved ones back at home, what are you going to do? Buy only from the shops which are inside the dome-shaped settlements and not outside from the unauthorized shops. Unauthorized, I wanted to write the meaning last time, so I will just write over here. Unauthorized, not allowed, or illegal. Not allowed, illegal. Right? So that is what. And she told her, take this, listen and take precautions. What are precautions? Precautions are something that you do to avoid danger. So that is what precautions. This is in the paragraph that we read last period. Something done in advance to avoid danger. Now you know we have to take so many precautions. Yes? While the school is not functioning, because we are taking precautions to avoid danger of the COVID-19, isn't it? Coronavirus. So we are taking so many precautions. Wash your hands. All these are precautions. Wear a mask. All precautions when we are going out, we have to take these precautions. And if we don't take, we may get this coronavirus. We may contract it. And that is why we take precautions. So what is the precaution? That we do in advance to avoid the danger. So all precautions that we are taking to avoid COVID-19, there is a list of it. Let's go back to the lesson. So yeah, these are the things which you have to remember. They were told to take precautions. They were told not to buy from unauthorized shops outside the dome-shaped settlements. The main reason was the gravitational force on the moon being 1/6 of that of the earth. Okay, remember this. Now I am on page number 25, the last paragraph. A jam-packed 3 days program awaited the children on the moon. So a tightly packed, jam-packed, tightly packed schedule was made for these children on the moon. According to the Earth calculations on the moon, there were 15 days of daylight and 15 days of night time. The 3 days of the trip were going to be part of the night time on the moon. One of the most important programs of the first day was Skywatch. So the main thing was sky watch. Now in the earth also we have to do sky watch, isn't it? So now they are going to do sky watch from the moon. On the earth it was usually foggy and the stars were seen rarely, isn't it? Most of the time when we think of going and seeing the sky watch, if we decide of going and watching the stars, most of the time the sky is cloudy or foggy and all, and so we can't see the stars, all the stars. We really need a very, very bright day to see the stars. And we are rarely get to see. They are faint, they are very light. But over here, there was no atmosphere on the moon. There is no atmosphere on the moon. So on the dark background of the moon sky, the stars shone dazzling bright. Because there is no atmosphere, there is no fog, there are no clouds, and so it was very, very clear. And in that dark background, the stars shone dazzling bright. Very, very bright they were looking. The most attractive view was that of the disk of the earth. In the moon sky, the earth looked 13 times bigger than the moon in the earth sky. So from the moon, the earth looks 13 times bigger, and they could see just this light like this. They could see from the moon over here, they could see this big thing over here down. And from the earth, we see the moon is very tiny, but for them, it was 13 times bigger. The earth looked 13 times bigger. And what was the most this thing? The disk of the earth. So just this disk of the earth, which was round over here, the disk of the earth, which they could see from the moon, was, disk is a circular thing. So disk of the earth, in the moon sky, the earth looked 13 times bigger than the moon in the earth sky. It was also 70 times brighter, and the earth looked 70 times brighter also for them. Okay. The earth light fell on the moon. This beautiful, enchanting view made Sally and her friend ecstatic. They fell asleep feeling happy, excited and comfortable at the same time. Ecstatic, very, very happy. Ecstatic, very happy, in fact very, very happy. Ecstatic, very, very happy, and so they really got good sleep over there. The second day's attraction was the circus on the moon. So see, this is fiction, science fiction. So now we have a circus on the moon. One unique feature of the circus was the seating arrangement. The spectators were made to sit in the tent, and the circus was going on outside. High jumps and long jumps were the special attractions. One gymnast jumped 27 meters high. So, tell me, what was the reason of keeping the spectators in the tent? What was the main reason? Their seating arrangement? Because, think about it again, the gravitational force, as I told you. So, inside the tent, they could all be seated properly because artificially they must have maintained the gravitational force of the moon. So, they must have artificially maintained in the tent, and outside the tent they did not meet because the gymnasts had to do, they have to jump high and all, and it was so easy for them to jump high. Why was it easy? Again, because they were lighter compared to that on the earth. Isn't it? So that is why one gymnast could jump 27 meters high. Because the gravitational force is 1/6, so he could jump very high. He becomes lighter. So that is why the gymnast could jump 27 meters high. On both the days, besides the main attraction, much time was reserved for visiting the various settlements there. So besides the main attraction, they were also given some time to go and roam around on the moon. It was expected that the students should spend some time for self-study. So why was this done? So that the students do some self-study, see around, and then of course, what do we also tell you all one thing whenever you go on a trip? Children, write an essay, write a report. Write a report of what all you did over there, what all did you see over there. And that itself, the teachers had given them homework. The teacher had assigned them the task of writing an essay on how they spend their time on the moon. We also always tell them, write what you did. So that is all. Write what you are doing in the lockdown. One assignment for you right away. Isn't it? How you are spending the lockdown. You can write down. Which places they visited, what they observed, etc. Saini and her friends had travelled far and wide and had done a lot of sightseeing. So this time that was given to them for self-study. Go around, see what is around and write an essay of what all you have seen. And so Saini and her friend got to see all these things. On the third day, now they reached the third day. So the first day, what did they do? They did sky watch. Second day, they got to see the circus. The main attraction was the circus. Now let's see on the third day. On the third day, their teacher took them to a place of historical importance. Historical importance on the moon. And what else could it be? 100 years ago, Neil Armstrong had landed at this place. So that was the historical event. The first man to land on the moon. Everyone was looking forward to this visit to the historical monument. It was the oldest place in the history of man on the moon. The first footprint of Neil Armstrong was preserved on the moon land. Beside the footprint was a grand statue of Armstrong. At the base of the statue were carved the first words uttered by a human on the moon. So the first words are also written. Everything is written over there, and Neil Armstrong's statue and his footprints were all kept in such a way that people can see it. They were preserved safely. And what was the first words that Neil Armstrong uttered over there? One small step for man, one giant leap of mankind. One small step on the moon for man, a giant leap for mankind to go on space, a giant leap, isn't it? A small footprint, but a giant leap. A leap like as a giant is stepping over there. Such a huge, giant is used over here to express huge, very big. So a giant leap of mankind. Mankind has gone advanced so much that it could land on the moon so many years ago. The next attraction for the children was that they were going to wear the space suits for the first time. They were going to wear the space suits for the first time. Then they were going to roam outside experiencing the gravitational force of the moon. So they had to go, they were going to now get to go wearing the space suit and experiencing the gravitational force outside on the moon. And then the teachers and all, they gave them an instruction. Be careful when you walk, dear children. Don't run or sprint, you will fall. The teacher was warning repeatedly. But who was in the mood to listen? They hopped, jumped and ran around. Just like how you all behave when we take you on a trip, isn't it? And the teacher is yelling, shouting, don't do this, don't go there, you may fall there, don't go near the water. So many instructions are given by the teacher, but at that time you give a deaf ear. That is, you don't listen to the teacher. You want to do what you want because you are so excited, you are so thrilled, you are so happy to be there. And so you just want to go around and see and experience everything. That's what these children were experiencing. They just wanted to jump and hop and run and skip on over there in their suits. Now again the next instruction. Buy ornaments specially made from the stones on the moon. Very cheap. Cheaper than those available in the shops in the settlements. Cheaper and better. So this is not one man standing outside. Cheaper and better. At least have a look. The roadside shopkeepers screamed at the top of their voice. So here what they are saying, come here, buy. Inside it will be expensive. Inside you go into the dome shaped over there, it will be expensive. Come buy from us. So are these authorized? No. They were the unauthorized, illegal sellers, vendors who were standing outside the dome shaped, specially made settlements or rooms where inside, go inside and there you can buy. Buy from there. And this instruction was given in the beginning by the receptionist. What did the receptionist tell them? Do not buy things from the unauthorized sellers. Come inside the dome-shaped settlement and buy from their shops which are inside. But this over here, this man, all these sellers were shouting over there, come on, buy ornaments specially made from the stones on the moon. And they are very cheap, cheaper than that of those you will get inside the settlement. Cheaper and better. At least have a look. Come, just see. The roadside shopkeepers scream at the top of their voice. At the top of their voice, very, very loudly. Phrase used over here. At the top of your voice, very loudly. So they are telling, come on, and they were screaming over there, shouting over there. Buy sister, buy. I am selling these earrings really cheap. Buy. Saying this, he approached Sally. Suddenly, saying this, he approached Sally and displayed the sets of shining stones earring. And saying this, he displayed. He showed all of them. All the things he displayed, he kept in front of her and said, come on, take, see which one you want. And they came right in front of Sally. Sally suddenly remembered her mother. All this while she was so excited of the trip and enjoying all the scenes, enjoying the main attractions, the Skywatch, the circus, then Neil Armstrong's the monument over there and all those things. So she was enjoying, and in all this she had actually forgotten her mother. You too, isn't it? Your mummy must be calling you 10 times. How are you? How is everything? Are you enjoying? Isn't it? And you forget. Mummy, not now. Now I am enjoying. Right? I'll call you afterwards. I'll call you afterwards when I go back to the room. And when you go back to the room, again you forget to call your mother back. Sally suddenly remembered her mother. Tomorrow they were to start on their return journey. She had completely forgotten her mother in the last 3 days. She felt terribly guilty. So she felt very bad, guilty, like feeling of bad, this thing that you have not done. Whenever you feel bad for not doing something, you feel guilty. That you've done something wrong. Whenever you feel that you've done something wrong and you realize that you've done something wrong, that's the time you feel guilty. And that is what was happening to her now, because she knew she loved her mother so much, but in this trip she had forgotten her mother completely. So she felt very guilty. Buy this, sister, don't think much, cheaper and better, take it. And here, one side she's thinking about her mother, that and feeling so guilty that, oh, I completely forgot her. And on the other side, the shopkeeper telling her, buy. And in all that, Sally looked around. The other children had proceeded ahead. So she looked around and seen all the other children had already moved ahead and she was over here left. So what did she do? And she was still feeling guilty. She has to do something for her mother. So Sally looked, come on, give me those red earrings quick. Sally pointed out at them and asked, what's the price? So she says, come on, give me those red earrings quick. And what's the price? Only 1,000 rupees, replied the salesman. Sally immediately paid the amount, took the earrings and ran to catch up with her friends, to reach them. So she ran to catch up with her friends. To meet or reach them. Okay, to catch up, to meet or reach them, to go and to be in with them. So on returning home, and so this journey, this fantastic journey got over. They had a good, wonderful time on moon where she went. First day was, what was the first day? The sky watch, where the stars were shining brightly, they were dazzling bright. Then she went on the second day, they seen the main attraction was the circus, where one gymnast jumped 27 meters high. The third day they went and they seen the footprints of Neil Armstrong and the big statue of Neil Armstrong and the words written over there, one small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind. All this was wonderful. The trip ended and now back she is at home. On returning home, Saili told her mother, very enthusiastically, very happily and joyously excited, everything all enthusiastically means with all the joy, with all the happiness. Okay, Mummy, look what I have brought for you. Her mother picked up the earrings. She exclaimed, hello dear, how am I going to wear such heavy earrings? So you see, she picked up the earrings and the mother said, how am I going to wear such heavy earrings? Why were they heavy now? Why were they heavy? Because the main thing, what did she do? She didn't buy from inside the dome where the gravitational force was specially artificially maintained. So the whatever the weight was there, that was the actual weight. So she could weigh it properly. But outside, all they were wearing light. She didn't realize this. Outside, because it is 1/6, so it was weighing light, and so she just must have held in her hand. It must have been light as a feather for her, and so she thought, let's buy it, and she bought. So she didn't follow the instructions, and she bought that. Saili immediately realized her mistake. Saili had purchased the earrings in the field of the moon's gravity. So what came to know her mistake? What was the mistake? She bought these earrings. She did not follow the instruction given by the receptionist of not to buy anything from outside. So why were those people telling not to buy? Not mainly because they were unauthorized, but mainly because they get being cheated in this manner. Because outside the gravitational force is not maintained, it is 1/6. And so what happened? She thought they were light, but on the earth, the same things were heavier. And so mother said, how could she wear such heavy earrings? Okay? And so, this is how the story ends, where you come to know, ultimately she brings a souvenir for the mother. She brings the souvenir for the mother, but the mother will now have to keep the souvenir only in the showcase, isn't it? Don't you think the mother will have to just, she'll never be able to use them. But of course, it was given with so much love, so the mother will keep it in the showcase and always remember that her daughter brought it. And Saili will always learn one thing, has learned one lesson, and will always remember that. What is it? Wherever you go, instructions are given for a reason, for a purpose. Follow those instructions. If she had to follow those instructions, she would not have made that mistake. Her mother would have really got to use those earrings, isn't it? So you see how the story ended and the space fiction. Yes, this was a space fiction where Saili got to travel up to the moon. Of course, it is not of the present day. It is fiction. Everything is imaginary. All is imagination. Okay. Thank you, children.